Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Dion Amade. On this episode, we'll be previewing both Saturday's 6A football championship games. And we'll be talking to one of the guys who'll be playing in those games, Jenks Trojan Jayden Patrick. It's wall-to-wall 6A football on Ford High School Weekly. Let's start with a look at the 6A1 bracket. A lot of people thought Owasso was a shoo-in for that championship game. But Jenks ended the Rams' 24-game win streak last Friday with a 39-15 win at Broken Arrow. The Trojans lost a tight one in the beginning of the season to 6A2 power Bixby, but they've been strong and getting stronger all season long, and they find themselves in the championship game with Edmond Santa Fe. The Wolves got here with a 21-14 win over Union at Owasso. Edmond Santa Fe has three guys that will be playing on Saturdays. Junior wide receiver Talon Shetron is rated the best junior wide receiver in the country by ESPN. Senior defensive end Colin Oliver is committed to Oklahoma State. And senior wide receiver and defensive back Angelo Rankin is reopening his recruiting after an early commitment to the Naval Academy. We all know Jenks won 13 state championships between the years of 1996 and 2015, guided by their legendary head coach, Alan Trimble. Under Keith Riggs, the Trojans have been consistent winners, but they have yet to capture that gold ball. For running back Grant Lohr and quarterback Stephen Kittleman, this is an opportunity to carry on that Jenks tradition that never graduates.
My dad and uncle both played D-line. My dad went on to play at Nebraska, and my uncle went to play on at TU. And they both won. My uncle won 4 state championships, and my dad won 2. So big legacy.
I think we all kind of feel that responsibility that, at Jenks we win championships, and that's what we were taught all throughout grade school. That's what's in our blood. So it's so important for us to bring gold ball back to Jenks this year.
Under Coach Kyle White, the Edmond Santa Fe Wolves have been improving steadily in recent years. For senior Angelo Rankin and Colin Oliver, Saturday's gold ball battle will be a great opportunity that requires steady, consistent play.
Just taking one game at a time. I think last year we would kind of get ahead of ourselves and just not overlook teams that weren't that good. But, this year we're taking each game one at a time, one quarter at a time, one play at a time, and just doing that till we get to that gold ball.
I'm going to be an early enrollee, so, this year is real important to me about the state championship. We really want to get there. We feel like we have a dominant team, the best team in the state. That's what we feel like, and we're confident in that. So, I just can't wait to see what we got from here.
Senior year and football and fighting for that gold ball. What do you have to say to the rest of the state and the Edmond Santa Fe faithful as y'all embark on the rest of the season?
It's going to be a long journey, but I feel like we're going to get it there. And, it's a great day to be a Wolf.
Head coach Keith Riggs and the Jenks Trojans have a 10-1 ball club that's experienced and veteran players all across the board. I'm telling you right now, Stephen Kittleman runs this offense like he knows it like the back of his hand, and he was born to do it. Senior running back Grant Lohr and wide receiver and defensive back Jayden Patrick, those guys can take over a ball game. And they're going to need to on Saturday if they're going to win or capture this gold ball. I'm telling you right now, Edmond Santa Fe's defense is dangerous on the defensive line. They will get after you. So if the Jenks Trojans want to win this game, they're going to have to do it on the perimeter. For the Edmond Santa Fe Wolves, they have a star-studded cast coached by Kyle White and a 10-2 ball club. I'm telling you right now, these guys can play some ball. Starting with OSU commit Colin Oliver, OU commit Talon Shetron, and running back Ethan Heiche, and wide receiver and defensive back Angelo Rankin. There's a reason why they're in the state championship game. They need to do what they've been doing all season long. Dominate on the defensive line and let the ball go vertical down the field. There's nobody in the state who can keep up with Shetron. COVID protocols and caution might keep you away from the games, but never fear. The OSSAA has your back with live streaming of all state championship games by the NFHS network. You can sign up for an NFHS network subscription on the OSSAA website or through the NFHSnetwork.com. Coming up next, Jayden Patrick has been a big contributor for the Jenks Trojans in 2020. He's one of those Jenks lifers who's getting his shot at a gold ball. Ford High School Weekly will continue after this. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with Jenks wide receiver and defensive back, Jayden Patrick. He's played well for the Trojans this year, making big plays on both sides of the ball. He and I may not see eye to eye on whether it's best to play offense or defense, but we do agree. We love football. Hey, the Jenks Trojans have a history of talented two-way stars. I mean, it goes way back, and this year is no different. My man Jayden Patrick handles it on both sides of the football for the Trojans. Jenks knows how to do it, and Jayden Patrick, you've been doing it pretty well this year. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me how it is, man, rolling into the playoffs now. How's everything going at practice, and how's the team looking?
We're looking good. We're juiced up. We're ready to go make another run for this gold ball. We're just excited to be playing because, some teams don't have the opportunity to play, and we're thankful for it, and we want to go out and make a run.
Well, everybody knows, and it's playoff time in Oklahoma when you see a couple of Jenks Trojans rolling around town with the blonde hair. I can see you got into the festivities. How's that been, being blonde for a little bit?
Well, it's crazy. I kind of like the gold hair. I mean, it's something different. You don't see a lot of teams having playoff traditions, so us having gold hair, it just makes us stand out a little bit.
Now, there are some people that, some schools around the state that try to do the same thing. I mean, what do you think about those other teams, dyeing their hair blonde and trying to get the gold in their hair as far as team unity and everything?
Well, it's just teams can't do it like the original. And I think we started that, so they won't ever be as good as us when it comes to dyeing our hair.
I hear you. Speaking of dyeing your hair, who dyed your hair personally?
My friend's mother. My friend's mother dyed my hair.
You want to give her a shout out?
Yes. Thank you, Miss Marcy, Adrian's mom. I appreciate that very much.
All right, now let's get between the white lines here. You've had a fantastic year, man. I mean, it hasn't gone a week gone by where I haven't heard that number 5 for the Trojans isn't, running up the score or doing some good things on defense. How do you think your year's been so far?
It's been a great year. I've kind of developed more as the season has gone on, and I'm trying to be that player for my teammates. The player that they can depend on, and I just enjoy being great, and I dream to continue to do that.
So as far as your team goes, I mean, what do you think has set you guys apart, or what do you think is, what have y'all improved on most throughout the season?
Adversity, most definitely adversity, because our team has been through so much, and our group of seniors is such a special class that as leaders, we just carry the young ones, the juniors, the sophomore, the freshmen. We just teach them and take them on the ropes, and that's what our team chemistry is what set us apart.
Speaking of team chemistry, I talked about this with your boy Stephen Kittleman. You guys have been playing together for quite a while. I mean, how is that, being able to play in Little League and now being seniors in high school, playing on the same team with your same teammates?
It's crazy. It brings us together, and him being my quarterback for that long of a time, we just have that chemistry. And so he knows what I'm going to do before I even do it, and I trust him to place the ball where it needs to be. So him being our quarterback has been a blessing to us.
Speaking of blessings, I mean, you're blessed with the talent to be able to play on both sides of the football. Let's be honest. Which side do you like more?
Well, I love scoring touchdowns, but I also love guarding the number 1 players in the state, and being that player on defense. So it's like a 50-50 decision. I enjoy scoring touchdowns, I guess, a little more than playing defense, but we got to keep that on the DL.
Don't worry, I won't tell nobody. I mean, just everybody that's watching. Nobody else though. But with that being said, I mean, you mentioned earlier how you guys have had to face quite a bit of adversity this year, and with it being your senior year and being one of the leaders on the team, how's this affected you as a leader and personally in your personal life?
It does suck. COVID-19, this pandemic, it has closed a lot of stuff for the class of the 2021, because we haven't been able to go to camps. We haven't been able to take as many visits and do all the other stuff that, the previous classes have done. So with our group of seniors and being in quarantine, us, doing home workouts at home, it's been great because we've been self-disciplined, and we've come out in better shape, and we're ready for the season.
So what has been some of the toughest stuff throughout the season and the pandemic dealing with as far as, football goes and preparing week to week on games?
Most definitely COVID, because you don't know who's going to be quarantined next, because we had a couple dudes on game day have to get quarantined. So, that sucks. You never know when it'll be able to happen, but you just have to the next man has to be ready to go.
Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to as far as, playing in these playoffs?
Probably making a run, that championship game, winning the last one my senior year.
So what do you think your team has to do throughout the playoffs to improve and to be able to, hoist that gold ball at the end of everything?
Play discipline. We have to play discipline and keep our foot on the gas pedal. We can't let off and give teams hope, thinking that they'll be able to come back.
Individually, what do you think you need to improve on?
That's a great question. I think I need to improve on my film study, honestly, because I've been taking that as seriously as I know I should. But once I get that down, I feel like we'll be unstoppable.
Let me make this perfectly clear. Defensive players have more fun than offensive players. You can tweet me on that. But I'm sure the Jenks Trojans head coach Keith Riggs is happy to have Jayden play on both sides of the ball. Remember, the 6A1 game between Jenks and Edmond Santa Fe will be at 1 o'clock on Saturday. We have more with Jayden Patrick coming up on Forward High School Weekly. Welcome back to Forward High School Weekly. Our guest is Jayden Patrick, the Jenks Trojan wide receiver and defensive back. We talked to him about some of the guys he looks up to play between the white lines just like he does. And we talked to him a little bit about that winning lifestyle of Jenks football. A question that I like to ask a lot of young athletes when you're watching, games on TV or as you were growing up, who did you kind of model your game after? I mean, you've got plenty of options with you being on both sides of the football. So who do you like to watch? Who did you like to watch in the past and who do you like to watch in the present?
I like to watch Deion Sanders because he was the GOAT in kickoff return, punt returning, and he's the GOAT in covering. And presently, that's a good one. Probably Calvin Ridley because of his route running.
Not too bad of a choice right there, past or present. I feel you. So what's next for you, my man? After the blonde is gone and things are done and we're still in this pandemic, what are you looking forward to after football season?
Oh, I'm looking forward to that little break we get, and then right back at it. Summertime, college football is a different breed, so I got to come prepared, and I'm ready for that.
So what's the recruiting situation been looking like for you?
It's been fun. I've got a lot of offers, and I haven't really decided where I want to go yet, but I know I want to study business in college, and I'm just excited to keep this recruiting process going and ultimately make my decision in come February.
So who's the top 3 of the top 5?
Oof. We got Pitt State, probably top 3. Pitt State, UCO, Lindenwood, Central Arkansas. Those are probably my top 4 right now.
And do you want to break any news here on Forward High School Weekly? You leaning any which way? I mean, if this is where you want to unveil it, I'm not going to be mad.
Not yet. We're gonna keep that a secret.
I feel you. My feelings ain't too hurt. But speaking of, I mean, tell me how it is to be a Jenks Trojan. You're one of the guys who've grown up your whole life, being a part of the program and dreaming and hoping to be on those fields on Friday nights. How has your time been as from the youth to now, where it's almost coming to an end? How has it been?
It's been amazing. Being a Jenks Trojan my entire life, it's a blessing. Growing up, going to the Trojan preview, watching the players run out of the tunnel, and now I'm the player running out of the tunnel. Little kids look up to me, and to be that role model, to be that example for the next generation it's amazing. And I thank God for it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. When I was watching you play last week, I had some questions in my head, and I really want to know, what's your mentality when you go out there on the football field?
Dog mentality. I try to give that energy to my teammates and let them know, hey, we got to go on a run. We can't let teams thinking that they'll be able to be in this game with us. We got to keep that foot on the throat. So basically, energy and dog mentality is what goes through my head.
Hey man, I could see it. I can see it. I like the way you play the game, and your energy level is by far it's up there, and yeah, the results show out on the field as well.
Thank you, sir.
So my last question before we get you out of here, I know that with the pandemic it's been rough, and the season kind of didn't start off the way that you guys would hope with the loss to Bixby. But what do you think you want your final message to be as far as with your play on the field? What do you want your final message to be in a Jenks Trojan uniform?
We got to keep up the tradition. It's just it's a hard question to answer. To win is a lifestyle, and being a Jenks Trojan, you're going to live that lifestyle.
Hey man, and with that being said, I mean, the question that I want to ask, and I pose this to your quarterback, Stephen Kittleman, as well. With that kind of mentality and those type of messages being taught to you guys at such a young age, any pressure you feel going into the playoffs and trying to take on these tough teams in the state of Oklahoma at the highest classification?
Of course, there's always a little pressure when it comes to that, but our coaches get us prepared, and honestly, we have the best coaching staff in Oklahoma. So without them, none of this would be possible. So they always have us ready for every game. So ultimately, yeah, we get a little nervous. You feel a little pressure, but as soon as that game starts and the first hit comes, everything just goes away.
Well, pressure makes diamonds. So
yes, sir.
hopefully you guys will be shining bright when the lights turn on these Fridays.
Yes, sir.
Well, my man, Mr. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit down and talk with us over here at the Ford High School Weekly.
Thank you for having me.
Saturday's 6A1 game is set for 1 p.m. at UCO's Wantland Stadium in Edmond. The 6A2 game is set for 7 p.m. Tickets at the gate for each game are $10, cash only. We'll preview the 6A2 championship matchup between Bixby and Choctaw next on Ford High School Weekly. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. The 6A2 championship game features the team that virtually owns the class and a team that hasn't won a championship game since the Eisenhower administration. I had to ask my producer on that little fun fact. The Bixby Spartans faced a tough Midwest City Bomber squad in their semifinals at Allen Trimble Stadium in Jenks. The Spartans led 21-17 at half. Then, star running back Braylon Presley scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter to lead the Bixby Spartans to a 49-20 victory. On the other side of the bracket, Choctaw knocked off Stillwater, who had been in the last 2 6A2 championship games. Last year, Stillwater eliminated Choctaw with a 62-12 win in the semis. This year, Tommy Yowzy hit a 35-yard field goal as time expired in Owasso. It gave the Yellow Jackets a 38-35 win and a berth in the 6A2 state championship game. In the history of the 6A2 division, the Bixby Spartans have won 5 of the 6 state championships, and they have a 35-game win streak on their hands. Junior running back Braylon Presley and senior quarterback Mason Williams know success is defined by that gold ball.
The team's doing really well right now. We've improved in a lot of aspects and a lot of positions. So I think we're doing good right now. Right now, we're just preparing game by game to hopefully get to the state championship again.
The way we practice, we work out. I mean, I believe we work the hardest too when it comes to off season and our summer. We kind of just, get down to it. When it gets into season, I think we practice, better than most teams. And it's just getting down to it. And we always have a different mentality. I mean, we always go play with a purpose, and we like to have fun with it.
The Choctaw Yellow Jackets suffered a devastating blow when their star wide receiver, Chase Jackson, suffered a season-ending injury in the first game of the year. Among the leaders who helped fill that void was senior defensive back Jordan Muse. He's a pretty good player himself, and he's committed to the University of Oklahoma. He would like to give this Choctaw fan base an unforgettable memory of this team.
Of course, I want to make our coaches proud, being our last year. So I want to go all the way. I want to make history at Choctaw. So, and then obviously I want to be known I want to be known in like the city. Like I want people to know who I am. Like especially when I go to college, I don't want to like just go to college and just be another player. I want to be better than the average player in college. I want to play past college. So that's my main goal. It's my main focus. And then obviously staying in school, making good grades.
Well, what can you say? The Bixby Spartans have a star-studded cast. Running back Braylon Presley, steady and experienced quarterback Mason Williams, and the Haas twins. You can't forget about those two. A lot of playoff experiences on this team. But to win this game, they got to dominate the line of scrimmage. If they're going to do that, they're going to win. That's what I'm saying. On the other side, we got Choctaw, who's led by their head coach, Jake Corbin. He comes into this game with a 9-2 ball club. They got a bunch of players on their side that's pretty star-studded as well. OU commit Jordan Mukes, and talented young quarterback Still Wassel, and running back who you got to be afraid of out of the backfield, Latrell Ray. I'm telling you right now, this team needs to do good on defense if they're going to win state. They got to find a way to eliminate the big plays from Bixby's offense and stop number one, Braylon Presley. Tall task, but let's see if they can get it done. Saturday's 6A1 game between Jenks and Edmond Santa Fe is set for 1 p.m. at UCO's Wantland Stadium in Edmond. The 6A2 game between Bixby and Choctaw is set for 7 p.m. Tickets at the gate for each game are $10, cash only. If you can't go to the game, check out live streams of all state championship games from the NFHS network. You can sign up for an NFHS network subscription at OSSAA.com or NFHSnetwork.com. Check YurView.com/OK every day for highlights like these and replays of the Ford game of the week. And remember, only the best in Oklahoma come to Ford High School Weekly. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, Deanna Mata.